How could you be below 8th grade in 2015 starting elementary school, but then cross over to 2020 and not be in high school? Just like 2004 was before I was in high school, but I started elementary in 1997, but I was only second grade. How could you be in 8th grade or below in 2015? But by the time 2020 hits, you're not done with high school. Because if you're younger than the age, so you will already be 14-year-old 8th grader versus in 2020, in 2015, versus you'll already be in 5th grade in 2015 before some people are already in high school in 2015 before the new decade started. Before people started high school, some people were still in elementary but younger than the other ones in elementary. Some people were still in kindergarten versus the first decade. In the zero decade in 1997, some people were in kindergarten who were in 1995, but some people were a freshman in 2005, and some people were in 8th grade in 2015. So how does that relate to someone who's taller than 5'5" in the middle of the decade, or shorter than 5'3" at the first 3 years of the zero decade, or then even born in the zero decade, or someone who's above 5'5" before 2015 in the third decade, who was still in 8th grade, but was still part of an elementary school in the left side of the year in that decade, or the left side of the whole building versus the decade, versus the left side of the year versus inside of the decade. That could relate to the right side of the month versus my bottom right foot and the up top of the ceiling at a different time, when people claim that, oh, they got offended because they thought that there was some crazy person who didn't exist in the coronavirus, but they were thinking that now that he changed the world and smacked the bitch out of nigga, they were telling people that the coronavirus never happened, and they thought that they were going to be the president and not respond to that population, when people claim they're not crazy because you got knocked the fuck out. So at what point did people run a 40 under 5 seconds before half of 2005 versus people run a 40 above 5 seconds before people were in 8th grade in 2010, or below a kindergarten in 2010, or in high school in 2015, a freshman and a senior 2007 versus a senior in 2020?